Hey, Teklians. We're back. Finally. Science update. We're going to start with science. Ready, Joe?
I'm ready. As always, well, actually, new thing, teacup in action.
Joe's Teacup of the Week.
I don't even know why I started that. It's just one day I bought a new teacup. I'm like, I'm going to do this next week. I'm like, I'm going to do this next week too. And on my wife, every week we go to the Dollar Tree because, it's $1. I'm not going to spend too much on this weekly teacup. She's like, why do you need another teacup? And I get obsessed with it. I use the same cup the whole week till I buy my next one. I just keep washing it out.
I use the same cup my whole life.
So this is literally my teacup for the week. I just going to wash it every time I have a cup of tea before my next one.
Tall, blue, and thin.
Yeah.
The Chiana teacup.
Yeah, the Chiana teacup. And it's sort of, the sexy color of the TARDIS.
The TARDIS blue teacup.
We have to work Doctor Who in every episode.
Yeah, let's just start off with that.
We'll get it in there right away, and figuring this is a science update, we have a lot to do about space. It'll probably come up again later.
But we're going to start with beer. You got your beer?
I don't drink. Yeah, I get beer. Sam Adams Irish Red today.
Now, one day, you may have hydrated beer. Electrolyte-Enhanced Beer that will rehydrate you as you drink.
That would be nice. I'm actually getting a little dehydrated right now. I also have a cup of water. I have everything. I have a cup of water, glass of beer, glass of tea. I just have everything in front of me. I have all of my coasters lined out with different drinks, just ready to select.
So they did this experiment. These nutrition researchers at the Griffith Health Institute found a way of to improve the hydrating effects of beer. They manipulated the electrolyte levels in two major commercial beers, one light beer and one regular strength. And they gave it to a bunch of people and just let them drink and exercise, I guess, and found that it actually hydrated them as they drank it over the unaltered beer.
How did it affect the taste?
It doesn't really say anything about the taste.
The improved light beer was actually a third more effective at hydrating a person than normal beer. That's cool. So I can now justify drinking beer. It's oh, I'm dehydrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's hot today. I need a beer. Or that thing I picked up was heavy. I need a beer.
My wife's not going to like me justifying that, but it's okay.
Huge asteroid coming back Friday the 13th. Came back yesterday.
So we're getting people. Make your wills. I actually don't even bother. No, not really.
Yeah, so there's this big asteroid called Bamberga, asteroid 324. Makes its little loop-de-loops around the planets and everything. And it got pretty close Friday the 13th, which would have been, worthy of a mention before Friday the 13th.
But last week was not Science Update week, so...
Nope.
Let's see. But that was... Friday the 13th was crazy on the networks, but I guess everyone should have seen that coming. Just Friday the 13th posts everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I think I must have seen 100 pictures of Jason or Freddy versus Jason. It was annoying.
Yeah, there's in March you got Pi Day. That one's fun. Friday the 13th just annoys me.
That one's fun, though. I like Pi Day because I'm a nerd, but
yeah.
I don't like Friday the 13th. Whenever it's Friday the 13th, people are just being all crazy and
the stupid superstitions and everything. And
that's bullshit to me.
Yeah, we won't get into the history of that. If you want to know, look it up.
I don't care about the history of that. Don't look it up. Meteorite brought surprising ingredient for life to Earth in 2012.
Scientists have discovered an unexpected ingredients for life. Organic molecules never seen before in meteorites, inside of a chunk of space rock fallen to Earth over California last year. Did you look at this one?
I have it open right now. That's actually really cool. So if they found organic molecules, that means there was life in the rocks or some type of organic. There wasn't organic life around it before it crashed into Earth.
Yeah,
I
skimmed through this and now I just completely forgot everything.
Yeah.
This is going to be a hell of an episode.
It says meteor fragments from the event may shed light on the primordial ooze that helped give rise to life on Earth. And again, I don't know. We're going to have I think it's another article in here later on about how life that we have planned to bring up, about how life came to Earth from a meteor itself, a meteor with life on it crashed into Earth. And this article is talking about how this will give us keys to looking at how life came up from the primordial ooze of Earth. So, I guess we can just say nobody really knows.
Yeah, it's more of an argument towards, the idea that life here came from out there. Transpermia. Very popular theory. Very interesting theory.
Yeah, what is this? Their composition, therefore, has always been seen as an indication that the precursors to the evolution that led to the origins of life could have come from the extraterrestrial material of meteorites. So that's basically what that shows. It is pretty cool.
Have you seen the cosmic caterpillar?
Cosmic caterpillar. I'm waiting for it to turn into a butterfly.
The cosmic butterfly.
That sounds so much cooler.
It does. Right? It kind of looks like an eyeball. Almost like a...
Yeah. I was actually going to say something a little bit more like, sperm. It's just what I thought when I first opened it up. I was going through all like most of our rundown. I was opening up all the articles. I'm like, that looks like a sperm. It's a glowing blue sperm. That's what I thought.
That's the universe reproducing.
Yeah, it's looking for an egg. I don't know.
Looking for a gigantic galactic egg. I saw a picture of this. It was a picture of this picture side by side with a I can't remember what it was. Something from Star Trek.
Oh, there's so many things in Star Trek. It doesn't really help.
Yeah.
I just started watching Star Trek Voyager again.
Let me see if I can pull this up. Star Trek. I found a picture of it. Here it is. Looks like Star Trek's Doomsday Machine.
Star Trek's Doomsday Machine? Which Star Trek?
Not sure.
I think that is definitely a Doomsday Machine.
Definitely. There's no question about that. Somebody called the Doctor. Or a doctor. Any doctor. Any doctor will do.
I'm actually going to meet the Doctor at Comic-Con, but not the Doctor that we all like to think of.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be meeting, Robert Picardo? He played Woolsey in Stargate. In Star Trek Voyager, he played the Doctor. That was his character, just the Doctor. He was like a computer simulation program made to look like a human because their doctor died on the ship and he was replacing the Doctor, so he was just the Doctor. So I guess technically after then I can say I met the Doctor and not be lying.
Yeah, you met the Doctor.
New technology could make for smarter planet rovers.
We need
smarter is better.
Smarter is better.
Well, one of the problems is, and why it really is good to have them smarter, is just they're so far away and it takes a lot of time for like signals and controls to get from Earth to the rovers when we're telling them to do something. So the smarter they are, the more they can do on their own without direction. That does waste a lot of time. They run into a problem, they have to send it back. We have to send them, like, people in NASA send them an answer, send the rover an answer, how to respond to it.
It's a huge delay.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how long it is. I'd assume it's not, like, monstrous, but I know it's probably a couple minutes, 2 or 3 minute delay between commands, which is still, I mean, I guess it's like working with Internet Explorer. Yeah. Also, then they're probably experiencing like a 10-minute delay. If they would normally experience like a 3-minute delay, they're experiencing
probably a 10-day delay.
Yeah.
Just work once every other day, every other 10 days. My computer just froze. This is why I don't like to use my Mac.
Oh, it just froze?
Yep. But it's okay. My Debian computer is still here.
Debian saves the day. All right, so in the article it says, right now for the rovers, each day is planned out on Earth based on the images the rover took the previous day. And then it's a huge limitation and one of the main bottlenecks for exploration of these spacecraft. So they're kind of trying to make it so that the rover, I guess, can choose its own paths on its own without having to spend a day going around taking pictures, then Earth gets those pictures and plans its course, and then spend another day doing that. They're trying to make it be able to recognize what it's seeing on its own and choose where to go.
Then they check back on it every 10 days and they're like, hey, our rover just like built a tent. Our rover is building things. Look, it left a note in the sand. It says...
They check back on it in 10 days. It's building an army to like launch an attack against us.
We lost communication with our rover.
And that is how the Transformers were born. No.
New model could help ID potentially habitable alien planets. I almost said animal planets. There's planets out there with animals. Aliens. What?
I totally just lost where we were. What is it? Microscopic signs of life show the harsh environments of Mars. I don't know. Where are we? What article are we on?
Where are we? We are on... Where are we? Earth.
Oh, discovering exoplanets.
Discovering exoplanets.
I skipped over that one. I went from smaller planet rovers to searching for microbial life.
Ah, see, you would have missed a planet.
How did... I don't deserve this. I'm going. I don't deserve to be here.
It's just...
Signing off.
This is our last show, everybody. We're done. Forever.
My fault. I fucked up. Blame me. We're done. No, we're not done forever. I'm not going to stop willingly.
So they're working on new ways of finding, discovering exoplanets that may support life. Very challenging. You know, I was thinking about one of the ways that they look is they watch a star. They look at the star and they look to see if there's the wobble. or if
Yeah.
there's like the dim. So if there's a little bit of a wobble, it's the effect like if you're standing still and you're holding something on a string and you're swinging it around, you're kind of going like this. You're kind of counterbalancing. The idea is that that same effect is happening when there's planets orbiting around a star, as if they're slightly pulling on that star. So you're going to see kind of a slight little wobble in that star. The other way is if here's the star and then planet passes in front of it, it dims just slightly. It's just like very, very small amount. But the problem is if you're looking at my fist is a star, so watch out for my fist. If a planet is orbiting like this, you're never going to see that dim. So you have to. That's why there's other ways of trying to detect them.
Yeah, and then also there's also other problems with because they have to use redshift to try to detect the atmosphere, right? I mean, detecting the planet is one thing. They have to use redshift to detect the atmosphere of a planet, I think it's called. And then you also have the whole problem if you're looking at a star that's 46 light years away. So you're looking at that star 46 years ago, and there are stars out there that they're looking at that are, hundreds of light years away, thousands of light years away, and you don't even know what that planet is like now. All you know is you saw it then, but it could have already been wiped out, and you just haven't seen the light from it getting wiped out yet. Giant asteroid.
Yeah, you could be like, hey, there's a planet with life, and let's go see it. And it's been gone for 1,000 years.
Yeah, you get there, it's like, what?
Assuming you can get there instantly.
Yeah. Well, I have a TARDIS, I don't know about you.
I'll send my tea there.
Yeah. Put a little phone inside. And, actually, it's not on our rundown, but I wanted to mention Voyager is officially now in interstellar space after like 20 years or something like that, 30. I don't know how long it's been out there. Voyager was a satellite thing launched ages ago, and it's officially outside of our solar system. It's past the Oort cloud, all that stuff, and it's still sending transmission, and they expect it to still send transmissions for another 20 years. It takes a lot of time for us to receive those transmissions, but it has passed the Oort cloud and left the solar system, so it's now in interstellar space.
It hasn't passed the Oort cloud.
Oh, it hasn't? I read an article saying it was in interstellar space. Is the Oort cloud part of our solar system, though?
Yeah, but that's way beyond. So it's past. I had this chart somewhere around here. Interstellar space, and then the Oort cloud is beyond that.
Really? Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought, I don't know, for some reason I thought the Oort cloud was part of our solar system, and you weren't in interstellar space unless you left the solar system.
Let me see if I can pull this up.
I mean, I'm pulling it up right now. I mean, I know it's in interstellar space. Remember leaving that. I didn't know the Oort cloud was not part of our solar system.
Yeah, it's part of the solar. It's just like it's kind of like the outermost shell of it, I guess.
So, what is considered interstellar then? What makes it?
Like the heliopause.
Oh.
Let me see. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I am. There we go. You see that?
Yeah. So Voyager is
about right here. There's the heliosphere. And then you've got the Oort cloud out here.
All right. And what is that other stuff past the Oort cloud? Stars? I don't know.
Those are gas stations.
Yeah. That's good. The Oort cloud is huge. That thing's like, I'm sure this is not to scale, but still.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, these sizes definitely are not, but I'm assuming the distances between these planets is to scale. Then that is insane. That the Oort cloud is about as thick as our entire solar system.
Yeah, almost. That's pretty cool. And what is it? It says we now know for a certainty that interstellar space is wicked dense with particles. I added the word wicked. It just says dense, but it is
wicked dense. That's the scientific term for it.
That's the scientific term. Wicked. And this is dense with particles, and the place is literally hissing.
Hissing?
Yeah. It's almost a pure tone like middle C, but slightly varying. Like your piano is not quite tuned right. So apparently, maybe like it's so dense with particles, those particles are vibrating or something. I have no idea. But apparently, we now know that interstellar space is just dense with fucking particles.
And noisy.
And noisy. God, never gonna get any sleep unless you like white noise. I guess if you like white noise, maybe you get to sleep.
My daughter will sleep then. That's how I get her to take a nap. I put on some white noise.
Did you see that thing I posted on Google Plus? I want to see if I can find it. It was a couple of weeks ago. It was what hyperdrive would actually sound like.
I saw you post it. I haven't had a chance to look at it.
Let me see if I can pull that up and play it into the speakers or something. I don't know if I'm going to find it. I searched hyperdrive sound. It's probably just going to give me a whole bunch of fake hyperdrive sounds.
Probably. So, microscopic signs of life have been shown to survive the harsh environments of Mars.
I'm tired of Mars. I know it's our closest planet, but I'm tired of Mars. The other guys don't get any attention. Like, what about Venus? We don't send any rovers to Venus.
I don't think they would survive.
Probably not.
Clouds of acid and...
Yeah, we don't try, though.
Well, didn't they send something? I thought they did send something, and it landed, and it survived just long enough to kind of just look up and take a couple pictures.
Probably.
And then it just kind of dissolved into a pool of sadness and metal.
Sadness and metal and tears.
And regret.
I'm always in a pool of sadness and regret and tears. I can't find that, though. I know I posted it. It was like a really weird, like, annoying sound, but it was like supposedly somehow the sound of hyperspace would make or something.
How would they figure that out?
Something to do with a Hadron Collider or something, you know, that giant collider in Europe.
Yeah. But they're talking about the sound of hyperdrive or the sound of hyperspace?
The sound of hyperspace.
Because see, isn't hyperspace just a theoretical thing?
Supposed to be. I have really no idea right now. I know I posted it, but it was a while. Maybe I should just look for my Google Plus profile instead of Google. But I found it. I saw it in Feedly. I think I was going through Feedly when I saw it. Maybe if I do a Google Plus search instead of a Google search, nanotube coated spider silk might spawn new electronics. I didn't even notice you posted that.
I don't even remember posting it.
Or putting it on the rundown. I mean, but more than 10 times stronger than Kevlar. One thing I remember reading up on in like 2007 or something that I never heard anything of since is using like bacteria as memory storage or something like that. It was somehow actually encoding data into memory storage.
I'm not finding anything searching for this. I am rebooting my Mac Mini. This is what I get for putting Mac back on it instead of a different distro of Linux.
You're being punished.
Yep. The Linux gods are punishing me. Yeah. How dare you put Mac back on a Mac?
Macs were made to be wiped and installed with Linux.
They were made to run one shit operating system for the rest of their life. This computer is like, what? Something other than Mac? I don't know what to do. How about I just do nothing? Because I'm panicking.
Just sits there with its finger up its butt, just...
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
The mighty Steve Jobs would never approve of this. I must protest.
The mighty Steve Jobs. I just really want the new Nexus, the new Android re-release. I want to see what's new about it.
Yeah, we get what the name is. We get that some people hate the candy. We get that some people hate the name. How about we move on to like what the crap is in it?
I've heard rumors saying that it's going to offer more support for older systems so that they can be updated.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that like devices that were running 2.3
will be able to handle 4.4. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that Google's slowly been putting a lot of the framework and stuff and things out to the Play Store so that whenever they come across a bug or a problem, they can update that without having to push a full system update. And that's making the OS itself lighter, I think. Maybe that's why. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like putting all kinds of stuff on the Play Store now, like the keyboard. And
yeah.
We should have just done an Android show.
Yeah, or Doctor Who show.
Having too many issues with this.
We're having too many issues with this science update. We're done. I quit.
Go home.
Go home. Or just watch us talk about stuff that's not science update. Although I guess Android is a science update. You could somehow, in some way, try to force it to be connected to science.
It is science. So is Doctor Who. Doctor Who's science fiction.
And if you take
We
away the
didn't-
fiction, you have science.
Yeah, there you go. We didn't specify science fact update.
We just said science.
Which covers everything. What am I? I don't even know what I'm on right now.
Amber Galloway added me to her circles. That's some breaking news. I don't know who that is. I'll check that out later.
Farming vegetables in space. Let's talk about that.
That sounds really cool.
See, because then now you can actually go out and with your little space shuttle, you can roll down your window, just stick your hand out and, pluck some oranges and shit.
From the fruit stand,
Yeah. Stop at the fueling station, get some more antimatter, pick up
But now
stickers.
you may be able to grow it yourself.
Astronaut successfully grew a zucchini while staying on the space station.
Successfully grew a zucchini.
A zucchini in a bikini. The bikini
Really?
part isn't confirmed, but it's assumed. After the
How else
first
would you
crop
do
of
it?
lettuce, I have no idea. After the first crop of lettuce, vegetables such as radishes and snap peas could be next to be grown in space. As the program advances, NASA will need to address how to grow and manage more complicated crops. Potatoes are easy to grow and store, but aren't appetizing raw. Wheat would require extra equipment.
Wait a second. Let me see if I can. Oh, here we go. And that is what a warp drive would sound like for hyperspace. Was that like
Well,
audible?
never mind that.
Yeah, I am not going to hyperspace.
I'll take the long way.
That's white noise, 24/7, like screeching white noise. But all right, it says antimatter, the evil twin-like opposite to every particle in the universe. It's pretty wild stuff. While in sci-fi world, it powers warp drives. Here, in the frustrating confines of reality, we still haven't figured out how to harness it. But thanks to some mad scientists at the Large Hadron Collider, now we know what antimatter sounds like. So that's actually the sound of antimatter. They say this is what a warp drive will sound like, because in sci-fi, warp drives are powered by antimatter, but that's actually the sound of antimatter. Pretty cool, I thought.
So are they saying that this is like what it would sound like around you if you're traveling through it?
I'm not actually sure, because I don't know like how warp drive would sound. It just says that in the world of sci-fi, it powers warp drives. So I don't know if they're saying maybe you would hear that, or maybe that's just a sound you would hear by the engine, or maybe you would only hear that around the warp drive engine itself. I don't know if you heard it all the time, that'd be annoying. I wouldn't want to develop warp drive anymore. Let's just go right to wormholes. The video captures the sound of two types of particles, BO and BOs. BO and BOs. I guess it's one in plural. I don't know. They switch back and forth between their matter and antimatter states. Since this switch happens 3 million times a second, the audio had to be generated down to super slow-mo to hit a frequency our puny human ears can comprehend.
Puny mortals.
So apparently that sound I was just playing was the sound of it slowed down because it switches back and forth every 3 million times a second.
Holy shit.
So when I was playing it was that white noise, and then you heard the white noise change.
Yeah.
That was when it was switching to antimatter, and then when it went back to the white noise, that was just regular matter rattling around in the Hadron Collider. So that's cool.
So the world's thinnest glass was made by accident. Oops.
Oops, I just broke a record.
Whoops. Somebody take a note of that.
Who gets to go home and be like, what did you do today, sweetie? I broke a world record.
By accident.
By accident.
What did you do?
I was taking a poop on the toilet, and I dropped, and I have no idea.
Similar. It was similar to that. They were actually...
I let it burn too long.
They're actually creating a graphene. So, it's along those lines. It's somewhere along there.
Graphene, that's that, like, super strong, really thin, unstable...
One of the thinnest and most strongest materials in the world.
Yeah, but I heard it was, like...
Sheets of graphene are just one carbon atom thick.
Yeah, they're so unstable they can't make them any bigger than that. By unstable, I mean they don't hold together, they're going to explode.
So they used an electron microscope and inspected some muck on the graphene and found that it was basically a sheet of glass made up of silicone and oxygen, 2 atoms thick.
2 atoms thick. What are you going to do with that glass?
Put it on the next Nexus phone.
Definitely. On the front, we're not going to have glass on the back of the next Nexus phone.
No, definitely not.
2 atoms thick, but how strong is it though? Is it like as fragile as normal glass would be at 2 atoms thick, or
I would assume.
because they were working with graphene to come out wicked strong too? Like 2 atoms thick that's so thin that you wouldn't be able to even see it. You would probably barely know that you're holding it. 2 atoms thick. If you were holding it, looking at it like straight on, you would not see the edges. It'd be like invisible.
Basically, if they can make a sheet big enough, you probably would not even see it.
So did you hear that story about how the Big Bang is false?
It's a lie.
Our whole lives? All right, actually, the Big Bang is just the most accepted theory, but there's another one too. But
that we came out of a hyper black hole.
We are a bubble universe of a universe, basically, almost, kind of, not at all. Basically, we are a 3D universe latched on and hanging out of the explosion of a hyper black hole from a 4D universe. Because we can't be on the same dimension of that universe by the laws of physics or something like that. So there would be a 4-dimensional universe and beyond our comprehension of their laws of physics. But according to our laws of physics, they would have to be 1 dimension higher than us.
Yeah, you mentioned like four-dimensional and everything, and that's usually when people kind of get lost. And so there's this video by an old video of Carl Sagan's where he's trying to explain each dimension, taking 1 dimension and then adding a second dimension and how that second dimension looks to a 1-dimensional creature, the Flatlanders. Did you ever see that?
No, but I saw something similar where they're trying to describe dimensions on an episode of The Universe.
Yeah, and basically it's like it's impossible to really be able to imagine a universe or a dimension
above
beyond yours. Yeah. You can only see yours and lower.
Yeah.
So if you've got a 1-dimensional creature here, and then you're passing a 3-dimensional object in front of them, all they're seeing is that 2-dimension slice as it's passing through.
Yeah.
So if you take something that's round and you passing it through their 2-dimensional world, they're seeing this little line just suddenly get a little bit wider and then go back down to size as this circle is passing through. So trying to be in 3 dimensions and trying to imagine what a 4th dimension is, who the hell knows?
And if we were in a 2-dimension, we would be able to imagine a 3-dimension world. And that's completely different than, I get confused sometimes with dimensions because there's dimensions as in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th dimension worlds, all that stuff. And then there's dimensions like 3rd dimension is the physical world, 4th dimension is time. That's totally different. That's dimension the word dimension being used in a different way.
Yeah.
I hate when people refer to time as the 4th dimension because it's not really a dimension. It's part of the universe that affects all dimensions.
I saw this other thing that was saying that time is dimension 0, basically.
Dimension
so there's 0 being
so
time.
All dimensions can observe it.
Yeah, so when you're going from the first dimension being a single point in space to 2nd dimension being a second point and a line connecting those two, you cannot connect those 2 points without a progression of time. So time has to exist under that.
Exactly.
And
that's why I don't like to hear time.
That point can't come into existence without time, because there had to have been a period of time for that to be existing. So time has to be the base dimension that all the other dimensions are built up on top of.
But I've heard time referred to as the 4th dimension many times. It just annoys me. But also, according to string theory, there are 11 dimensions. We can observe them all. I don't know what math they use to figure that out, but according to them, there are 11 dimensions.
And that's a crazy theory. That's basically taking 3D space and like the entire universe, condensing that down to a single point.
Yeah.
And then that being another level, another dimension. And then you've got this line, and that line is connecting 2 points of 2 different entire universes, entire dimensions.
That's why it's called string theories, because they think of these strings between the dimensions. And there are other theories that like theorize there's infinite dimensions, there's only our 3 dimensions, there's a whole bunch of different theories, but string theory, what is it? It's also called M theory, the theory of everything. It's all the same thing. But dimensions are so confusing because we can't think outside our own. It's just we can't understand a dimension that is not our own dimension, and that's what makes it so complicated. Dimension above our own, we can't understand it.
I'll have to share that video because I think I know what video you're talking about. That 11 dimension video.
Yeah, I was watching an episode like on string theory or something, or on the universe or something, but yeah.
Yeah, there's this little clip that I found on YouTube, and it's one of those things where it's like it starts off and it's starting with like that point, and then it's saying here's a line. Now you've got 2 dimensions, and then 3 dimensions, and then you're like, all right, this is cool, I got it. And then it's like going on to 4th dimensions, and you're like, I don't know. And then 5th, 6th, and then by the time it gets to like maybe 7th dimension, you're just kind of like, I'm lost, but I'm gonna just keep watching.
Yeah. Anyway, back to like the creation of the universe, or by a 4-dimensional thing. It's saying in our universe, a black hole is bounded by a spherical surface called an event horizon. In ordinary 3-dimensional space, it takes a 2-dimensional objects, a surface, to create a boundary inside a black hole. In the bulk universe, the event horizon of a 4D black hole, if this is a universe outside of our own, it would be one step above 4D. Then it would be a 3D object instead of a 2D that would take place inside of their black hole. So, and that's kind of what's bringing them to say that our universe could be from the implosion, I guess, of a hyper black hole in another 4D universe.
So does this contribute to a theory about what black holes would be in our universe? Like, is that spawning a universe?
I didn't see anything about that in the article. Oh, that does bring in some good questions. Like, could there be 2-dimensional universes from hyper black holes in our universe?
Yeah, I mean, if we're spawned from a 4-dimensional universe, and then we have our own black holes, so are those black holes spawning 2-dimensional universes?
And if so, could we like, inspect them, look at them, study them? Well, probably not, because even if they are, I don't see, without getting destroyed, I don't see you be able to put anything in a black hole. Not even something the size of an atom, it would still get crushed and destroyed. So,
unless you have the TARDIS.
Unless you have the TARDIS can survive a black hole. Has it before? I'm not sure.
I'm assuming the TARDIS can survive anything.
All intents and purposes, it can.
The TARDIS left the universe.
It did. It went to a bubble universe, but nothing at all like that. If I remember the Doctor's words correctly.
Yeah, it's a pocket universe. No, it's not. It's like a bubble, but nothing like that at all. You want a one-way trip to Mars?
No, I do not. I want a 2-way trip to Mars. I would take that in a heartbeat.
I want a 4-way trip to Mars.
4-way trip to Mars.
I want a 4-dimensional trip to Mars.
Yeah, that'll work for me too. I want to take myself to Mars and be able to pick 3 other people to go with me, preferably women, and
unless there's some there already.
Yeah,
they may be some interesting.
I'm done with humans anyway. I mean, let's move on to the more intelligent species.
Yeah, I'm bored with humans. So what is this there? Are they a little bit closer to sending people there?
Yeah, it's more of just that article's more of like a recap of some things going on. It's the same trip. It's just they're I'll pull it up right now. They're a little bit farther on. I think they have the drawings done now or something like that. I think they know who are the candidates, but they haven't chosen the final 16 or whatever it is to get picked. But
$3.6 billion.
The thing that interested me about this article, and the reason why I put it up there, wasn't it has a bunch of different things on it. It was the next space shuttle. That's the thing that I wanted to put up here. And it's about we have a space shuttle now that if it all goes as planned, it can take off and land on a runway. It can go into orbit, refuel, say, the International Space Station, and come back down and land on the runway. In 2 days, I think it said, it'll be ready to make another trip. So that's cool. If you look at the picture on there, it's really cool looking. I kind of want one of my own. This is sort of the first aircraft there is that can leave Earth from a runway, just take off like a plane, and go outside of our atmosphere. It is.
That's pretty amazing.
It's a lot bigger than the way it is. And that pisses me off about our society is we don't make a big deal about these things. I mean, one of the Kardashians gets a divorce, it's all over the fucking news. But
oh yeah,
we finally have a spaceship that can, and that's what it is. This is a spaceship, and it can take off and land from any runway, and nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. It's like, that stuff just pisses me off so much. I don't even want to get into it.
Oh, you guys practically built a frickin' sci-fi spaceship? Yeah, well, let's post some more Miley Cyrus videos.
Yeah.
Because the world's not tired of seeing her.
Because that only happened 3 weeks ago. Let's just keep talking about that.
I'm going to try and pull this up.
It's going to use, they're working on completing the development of, it's called a synergistic air-breathing rocket engine. And it'll make the runway to orbit space mission a reality. And it would take 2 days for it to be ready to do it again every time it lands. Imagine like owning one of those. Like you saw the article, you saw the picture. Like imagine owning one of those. It just looks so cool. It just looks badass. Yeah, there you go.
That's it, right?
Yeah, that's it. How cool would it be to own one of those? Just like fly one of those.
I mean, it's I don't know. It's just awesome. This can just take off. It's like just a regular plane, and it can just leave the atmosphere, come back. You know, you don't have all these pieces that are going to break off that you spend millions of dollars to use once.
And it's still going to use a lot of fuel, but it doesn't need one of those huge things that take off vertically. I don't know why we ever decided the best way to take off was vertical. That's the hardest way that requires the most amount of energy is a vertical takeoff.
All the stress put on those freaking launch pads and everything.
Yeah. But also they use hundreds, thousands of gallons of fuel every time just for that initial blast off. And the article also talks about people who applied for the one-way trip to Mars, Voyager. Oh god, I'm tired. 124,000 metric tons is the amount of chemical agent unleashed during World War I. 3 to 5 pounds, the weight of the bacteria the typical person carries around, enough to fill a large soup can. It's a lot of bacteria. And for some reason on a science article, they have the price of the new 64GB iPhone 5S.
Yeah, that's why I didn't keep scrolling.
Which comes in gold, black, or silver. Did you hear that? Gold, so get it while you can. But what is the other stuff? A gigantic robot truck that loads, hauls. Yeah, I don't care about robot trucks.
Did you see the giant fire-breathing robot dragon?
I did. I saw that video. I want one of those.
Hell yeah.
Hey, if it could fly too, that would be awesome. Just like fly that thing into places.
Yeah.
Scare the shit out of people.
I was telling my wife showed me that video just randomly. I guess she found it and shared it to me, and I told her I was like, I'm getting one of those. I was like, I would drive it to work, and then I realized I don't need to go to work. When you own a fire-breathing robot dragon, you don't need
to give you money not to kill them.
Yeah, basically. I was like, I would drive that down the freeway.
Just go to some small country and land it and be like, give me your wealth.
I am your god now.
That is your country now.
I now call this place my land.
My land.
We'll work on the name later, but for now it's mine.
110 decibels. The noise of a typical MRI machine generates when in use is about as loud as a rock concert. But GE Healthcare this week announced a new silent MRI machine. That's cool. I've had a lot of MRIs, and that's the thing I hate. You even they give you like these earbuds to put in your ear and stuff, and even then the sound is like deafening. It is really loud. All right, we're done with that article. Go away. I don't want you.
Get out.
I'm letting you go. I don't want you anymore. Leave.
If you love an article, let it free. Where's my button? I'm missing my buttons.
I took it. I took all of your buttons.
My button.
They're my buttons now.
There's my button.
Fine.
Biochemists resurrect molecular fossils. Findings challenge assumption about the origins of life.
I don't want to talk about that article anymore.
No?
Wait, I don't know. I skipped that article. I accidentally opened the next article again, and I don't want to go back.
We're skipping around.
I'll go back to that one. I want to talk about left or right-handedness.
Let's just take a nap this episode.
I'm going to take it. I was taking a nap before we started the episode. I was like half asleep in my chair.
Yeah, I started very late.
But the genes linked to being right or left-handed have been identified. And basically, they don't actually come out and say it in the article, but you have a rundown up on the screen?
Yeah. I'm too lazy to end the screen share and then restart it, so.
Yeah. No, the genes linked to being right or left-handed have been discovered, and they don't actually say in the article. I don't care about what everything else the article says, but basically what that means now is if you do something like IVF, you can get even creepier. You cannot just choose eye color, hair color, or sex. You can also now choose whether or not your child will be right or left-handed. They don't actually say that in the article, but that is kind of what it means if they have found the gene, then they can do that.
Yeah, basically.
One thing it says they don't understand, though, is even though they found the gene that controls it, they still have no idea why the gene is not a 50-50 chance like every other gene or like every normal gene. It's still a 90% chance you're going to be right-handed, and they don't understand why.
Huh. That's really weird.
And that is intriguing. It's like, what would cause that?
Kind of, it makes sense because there's so many more right-handed people than left-handed people. That's why there's like specialty shops where you can buy things made for lefties because, you know, most stuff is for right-handed people. But it's just crazy that this one gene that could go either way is more lenient to one way.
Yeah, because it's not something that's hereditary, right? If I understand correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, right or left-handedness isn't hereditary, so which means it should be 50. Like, I could understand if over time more and more right people, there were more of them, and that's why there's more of them now, but if it's something that's not hereditary, that means it should be like 50-50 every time. Every time that gene's there, 50-50 which way it goes. But apparently right-handedness, it kind of makes me think that maybe the gene is meant to go right-handedness, and 10% of the time it's a fluke and it goes the wrong way. I don't know. They don't know either. So who am I to ponder or guess?
So the right-handed people are the correct-handed people, and the left-handed people are the whoops, your gene slipped.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a drink of tea.
Let's take a drink at the same time.
That was good.
Mine was okay.
We should sync more often. We should choreograph our episodes. Dance scenes. I just like stick my chair out, just start dancing. I'm not doing that. I'm not getting up. It's too late.
Really? I was about to like freeze the view on you. I thought you were going to dance.
No, I'm good. Not unless it's the chicken dance. It's my favorite dance. No, not at all.
Oh well. Now you have to.
I don't want to. You can't make me.
It is written in the stars that Joe will dance the chicken dance.
Only pretty girls have the power to make me dance.
We'll get one.
Other than that, I'm going to sit on my ass and not do anything.
We'll get one on the show, and she will make you dance.
There's nothing more motivating than a pretty woman asking you to do something. Other than that, I'm sitting on my ass. But if a pretty woman that asks me to do something, there will be in the back of my mind that small chance. Maybe if I do what she asks, then I'm not going to finish that sentence. But
moving on.
Early human timeline. It's a really simple article I came across. Dating of beads, just like, beads that are around someone's neck, whatever, made out of shells that was found in the Middle East that they found next to a skull, and they weren't able to date the skull. They dated the beads themselves and found them to be really old. That's not an exact. 42,000 to 42,400 to 41,700 years old, which is older than they originally thought for humans in that area, which kind of means that there could have been modern-day humans in the Middle East before Africa. So, or it's giving them keys that the way they spread out is not maybe the way they originally thought humans spread out across the world. But it's pretty interesting. Actually, I didn't find it that interesting. I don't have a phone anymore. Using Feedly is horrible, so I didn't do anything at all to prepare for this episode. So last night, I just went through my Feedly on the webpage and just opened up everything that had to do with science and stuck it in the rundown. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah, I did something similar. I'm opening wrong buttons. Pushing buttons. Too many buttons.
It's so annoying not having a device anymore. Using Feedly on the web interface is just...
I actually kind of like the web interface.
You do? I don't, because I hate tabs. I don't like having more than 3 or 4 tabs open tops. So,
well, I mean, when you click on an article it expands, and then you kind of see it basically like you would in your app. But when I'm reading it on the app, I usually, well, I guess it opens the full web in the app, right?
Yeah, when I do it on the web page, it just opens, like, it just brings me to the web page, and then I have to hit the back arrow and I can go back, but it doesn't like open it in the same area or anything. I kind of just right-click all the ones that seem interesting and hit open a new tab until I have enough open. Read. I'm boring. I just miss my phone. I think the most annoying thing is the fact that I can't use Hangouts to talk to people anymore unless I'm in front of a computer.
Yeah.
And I know, like, for you spend a lot of time like in front of a computer at work and stuff, but like I don't. So for me, not having my phone on me, so I can't sit on the couch anymore, like, and watch TV. Our computer isn't anywhere near our TV. So, and my laptop, the trackpad doesn't work, so I kind of have to have it on a desk to use it with a mouse.
I've seen there's a mouse. I actually got one a long time ago because I thought it would be pretty cool, but it's a little USB mouse, and then you just hold it like this, and you move the ball around with your...
Oh, it has a little ball?
Thumb. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like you put your finger through, it's almost like it's got a little trigger, and that's how you click, and then you move your thumb. There's a little ball at the top, and you use that, so you don't need to set it down or anything. It's like you can just pick it up and...
Oh, that's neat. I'll definitely check into that. I might start using my netbook again downstairs on the couch. I just want a phone or a tablet or something again. I like, especially for Chromecast, it's like if I'm watching something and I want to pause it, I have to actually get up and leave the room to go to where the computer is to pause it. And I missed like 20 seconds. And it was so much easier just when I had a phone, swipe down from the notifications, pause. Simple things like that, I'm lazy. I think smartphones have made me lazy. Like I find things, even with smartphones, when they come out with new features, if I get so used now that everything I can swipe down for notifications to shut it off or something. If I actually have to go in the app, it's like, oh, this sucks. I have to open the app to do it. I can't just like set a gesture. I'm getting so lazy now because of smartphones.
We're all getting lazy because of everything, because of technology. It's gonna take over. Engineered bacterium hunts down pathogens. This is pretty cool. They've engineered these microbes. There's one right there. Kind of got, it's like a superhero. It's got a little cape on. But basically, it's these little bacteria that they can program to go in and find an infection or find something that's bad, and it's going to go after it and kill it.
And they can program it. They can program what bacteria it's sending it to kill.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's kind of what they thought like 10 years ago they'd be able to do with nanobots or whatever.
Nanites.
And but now they're doing it. Now they're doing it with bacteria itself. That's pretty cool.
Which almost makes you think that maybe the future of nanites isn't with just microscopic little machines. It's with,
life. Microscopic life as well.
But like if they could program these little bacteria and stuff like that to kind of function as like a little robot, not robot as in.
Well, according to our rundown, we have a number 17 article.
I have too many.
What?
It's blank.
It's blank. I don't know what. I'm blaming you for that. But apparently we have to talk about nothing. So, God, it's on the rundown. We have to do it.
We have to talk about nothing. What else have we been doing?
I don't know. We're talking about naps. That's close to nothing. I wanted them to nap.
I apologize.
Why should you apologize? They should be thanking us. They should be thanking us for giving them the chance to watch what we're doing. They should be apologizing to us for not having watched more religiously.
If every episode was as disastrous as this one has been, then I don't blame them.
Oh, I got a message.
What does it say, Joe?
What does it say? It's actually from...
Read it to us.
Read it. I'm going to read it to you.
Hurry up. Read it.
It's from Joelle.
What does it say?
Last night. She says she would like to be on our future episode Sci-Fi Shoutout. Not actually be on it. She wants to talk about Once Upon a Time and Torchwood. And Sherlock, but I told her I didn't know if that was going to be on it or not because Sherlock's not sci-fi. But
Once Upon a Time isn't either, but we're definitely going to give a shout out to it.
Fantasy, sci-fi, it's close enough.
There's so much in the new Doctor Who that has been so fantasy that they're blurring the lines.
They are, and that really upsets me because I always liked sci-fi more than fantasy. Actually, I always liked sci-fi more than fantasy when it came to movies and TV shows, but I always liked fantasy more when it came to reading books. I was never a big fan of the sci-fi books.
When is our sci-fi shout-out episode?
I think is that after next week? Next week we're doing self-produced content.
Yeah, self-publishing is next week.
That one's cool, because that's what we're doing right now. We're self-publishing. We're self-publishing this through Blogger and Hangouts on Air and all that stuff.
Still working on getting a guest. We'll see. And sci-fi shout-out will be after that.
We got to put that guest form up live, I guess, on the blog page or whatever. SquareSpace. I want to save up and get us a SquareSpace one day, just so we can do it.
SquareSpace is nice. I've been setting up the website for my wife's store. It does a really, really good job of, if you want a website and you want your own web store, it's amazing how easy it is. I mean, you have your menu and you just click add and then you add pages. You can add folders and then add pages under that, so that creates kind of like a, when you hover over a link and then more links pop up, like a little drop down, just kind of generates that automatically. And when you're making a store, you basically just add a new product page for each type of thing you want. So it's like Like if you want to do clothes, you just add a new product page, and this is going to be the clothes section. You add another product page, this is going to be whatever section. So you've got everything nice and organized and separated.
It does seem pretty cool. Honestly, if I ever went, or hopefully soon, I'm trying to, if I go full-time at Best Buy, I would definitely validate $24 a month for having a website for Teklian and like a domain name rather than, I would definitely do that rather than Blogger. Because couldn't we always like put our blog on there too?
Yeah, it has a whole blog section. I'm actually trying to work on theirs. Don't you dare interrupt me with your sneezing.
Sorry. Forgive me. How can I repent?
How could you resort to such primitive human behavior? I would never sneeze.
But no, we do have a guest form. We will be putting it up sometime eventually, maybe.
It is up, actually.
It is?
Yeah, it's on the guest page.
Well, it wasn't working.
Yeah, it is. I saw your submission.
Yeah, I had to turn it on. I went to go use it. It was turned off.
It wasn't accepting.
Really? It wasn't accepting forms. I tried going to it and said it wasn't accepting, so I turned it on. And then I told it to make I couldn't figure out how to view requests inside the form, so I made it put all the forms into a spreadsheet, which is why there's also a spreadsheet now in that folder. But it was turned off. It wasn't currently accepting.
Barrowman.
But now it is. If you hit view live form, it'll work now.
Well, somebody submitted something to it not that long, or like shortly after I put it up.
Yeah, it was working, and then it turned off. I don't know. I know you had it working because I was playing with it, and then I was playing with it today, and it was off. I went to go play with it today, and it was turned off.
Well, we don't need to know all that. We're talking about the form here. Playing with it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look. I will tell everybody on here whatever I want to tell them. They should know.
It's my show too, damn it.
If they're watching it, they should be following me on Google Plus, and they should know that I was playing with it. But no, it says responses, there's 2, and then I hit responses, and there's a view responses option, but only because I hit change response destination to spreadsheet. Before that, there was no way to view the responses except for summary of responses that doesn't put all their information together.
Yeah, they've changed things since I've last used it, because I use one of these at work for when we have small orders that are too small for them to go through and fill out a whole order form. I just have this little Google Docs form thing, and they submit it that way. So it's like really quick things, and they're kind of like high priority type of stuff. And I pretty much got that down, and then I went to go make a new one, and it was a whole new interface than what I'm using over there. Yeah,
but it's good to have. So we do have a form for guests. Go fucking fill it out and be a guest on our show. That's all I have to say. We could use some guests.
Yeah, because I see your submission in here that you submitted today. And then there's the master.
I did not make a submission today. That was the master. That wasn't me.
No, there's yours, and then there's the master. The master wants to join us.
That wasn't me, though. Someone else named Joe. It doesn't say me. It just says Joe with an exclamation point. And it says I'm a Teklian, and technically a lot of people are Teklians. So that wasn't me. That was another Joe. I mean, look, my email address is not none@none.com, all right? Why don't you email none@none.com, you'll find the perpetrator.
There's proof right there. There's no possible way anybody could have entered a fake email address.
You see, I put the master at destroythedoctor@scaro.org. That's an organization. That's not .com. That's an organization.
Oh, yeah, it's a free organization.
And then for his knowledge and experience, I've spent years attempting to destroy the Doctor and take his remaining generations for myself.
We'll give the master a call.
Maybe we'll have the master in one of these episodes. And the cool master, the one with the mustache and all that darkness to him, not the blonde in a sweatshirt shooting lightning out of his hand.
Flying around and turning into a Skeletor thing.
But that's the stuff to me that was just too
cheesy.
Much like superhero fantasy stuff and not science fiction.
Yeah.
There was no explanation at all with using science fiction for why he was brought back. It's like, a magical drop of blood, like witchcraft or something was being used. And
when they were bringing him back, that whole little... Like, what the hell was that?
It was like witchcraft. It wasn't like science fiction. And that's what I don't like in some of the... is when it's less science fiction than everything else. I don't mind, a little bit when they go away and do fantasy, but when it's becoming more of the fantasy stuff than the science fiction, that's when I don't like it.
He was pretty cool when, in the beginning. I like how he went from the master being, like, in a suit and tie, and he had his look, and then he went to, like, hoodie. Yeah,
he was wearing, like, a jumpsuit. I don't know. I really liked... I I thought he looked cool the way he looked when he was the old man on Utopia.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looked old and fragile, and you would never have thought looking at him like, oh, that's the master, that's this evil Time Lord that's been trying to steal the Doctor's regenerations for years. Although now with no more Time War, he's not trying to steal his regenerations anymore, or he wasn't in those episodes, but...
Back to Doctor Who.
Oh. What else do we have to talk about? That you left Spot 17 empty. You left it empty, Chris. There will always be a hole in the heart of that document because of you.
Oh, yeah? Now there's...
You deleted the hole.
Now there's 2.
You can't just...
And they all have D's in them.
You can't just delete pain, Chris.
There's 5. So now we got 5 blank. Let's talk about the letter D.
Let's talk about the letter D. I like double D's. That's 2. That's not the letter D. That's 2 D's.
Well, we have 5 on here. So if you want to condense 2 into one topic, go for it.
All right. I'd love to talk about double D's once in a while. I don't know if I should talk about it on the show.
I want to condense 2 of them into one topic.
I get an email, Middletown, Rhode Island, retail merchandiser needed. That is spam, by the way. Gmail is not doing a good job of sorting that out. I keep getting these spam messages from merchandiser needed for warehouses. And it's always from a different email address, and I keep marking it spam, but every time it comes from a different email address, it goes to my inbox. It's not like Google.
Clever.
Letting me down. I don't want to be a merchandiser. I want to sell tablets. Actually, I don't want to sell tablets either, but that's what I'm doing in the meantime. But...
You want to sell merchandise.
I want to build the tablets. I want to build computers. That's what I want to do. I wish I could build software.
Me too.
Sometimes I wish, because Android is so open source and there are so many apps that can give you control of your phone, I wish I could just take all the things I want and build it into one app that lets me do what I want. Or even better, just build my own ROM. I wish I could do that.
Build your own operating system, like Tony Stark.
Fuck Tony Stark, I'm better than him. Him and his fucking Jarvis just go away. I wouldn't want to build my own operating system because I would still probably use Linux.
Deal alert. 8
Deal
gigabyte.
alert.
Yep. We got a deal alert. You mentioned email, so I figured now would be a good time to just go through and delete some email because we're not doing a show or
What's
anything.
The deal? 8 gigabyte.
So Pro notebook, $499.99. It's AMD though. I don't want AMD anymore. I'm sick of AMD.
$499.99.
What else do they have in here? Motherboards. 22-inch 1080p LED monitor.
I would recommend motherboards. That's cool. I would love to build a computer one day. Like I'll put Linux on it or something, but like take all the hardware I want, the processor I want, the motherboard I want, all that stuff, and just put together a killer, sweet-ass computer. But I'm never going to. Everybody should go and buy stuff at Best Buy. That's where I work. Support me. Don't use Amazon. Use BestBuy.com. I don't know if I'm legally allowed to, like, advertise for them without their permission. I know I had to do a bunch of e-learnings. I'm not allowed to give away any company details that aren't already public. But telling people to shop at Best Buy isn't... I don't think I can advertise for them. Go shop at Best Buy.
Yeah, you can.
Only because I work there. Otherwise, I might tell you. Actually, Best Buy's almost, like, gone bankrupt several times because just everyone wants to buy online mostly now, and when they do buy in stores, they usually do it from something like Walmart or whatever. But most of the stuff that they do online now is Amazon or Newegg for computers and stuff. Or they have it shipped site to store, but it's all like mostly online. You don't get that many people coming in and looking at computers anymore.
Nope.
And it's sad. I remember like being a kid and like there's everyone just like playing with the computers in Best Buy and stuff, going around playing with everything. And now everyone just like they know what it does, they know what it wants, they just want it shipped to their house.
Yeah, that's exactly how I used to love going in and like or anytime I'd go to the grocery store, I'd go straight to like the electronics section, like go grocery shopping with my mom or something, but I'll be in electronics and I'll be there the entire time she's shopping.
Yeah. That's how I was as a kid. It's always I'm going to the electronics. But
but now it's like I know what it is, I know how it works, this is what I want, I'll have it shipped right to me.
Exactly. I just know how it works now, and a lot of people know now how computers work, and they just know what they want. And the only time I really like going and playing with stuff is when it's a new device, and there's not really many reviews out on it yet. I play with the new Nexus 7 sometimes at work, but I love playing with that. Like I'm in tablet sales, so I'll be walking by and it'd be like, there's no customers here right now because we only get like 4 customers a day, and I'll just be like swiping through, playing with it. Sometimes I'll pull up Teklian Live and just leave YouTube up. No, I don't do that. I did do that. I actually, my wife got mad at me because we went to Best Buy because she wanted to walk around and look at stuff or something. So I went and I pulled up, this was before I was working, I pulled up Teklian Live on all the tablets and just left the YouTube page up with it paused. And I was like, what are you doing? If they see you, they're going to know it's you. It's like, you worry too much.
I actually used to do that. I used to do this little design clothing thing. And I'd go in, like, we go to the mall, so I'd go into the Apple store and I'd go to, like, every computer or something and open them all up. Or
yeah.
The last time I did anything like that was, especially in an Apple store, I went there and I pulled up, like, websites for different Android phones and just left it on screen.
Nice.
Trying to save somebody. It's, in case they open it up and go, wait a minute, look at that one. Wouldn't that be a funny story? I went to the Apple store to buy an iPhone, but then I picked up an iPhone to try it out, and there was this really cool Android phone left on the screen. So I went and got that instead.
Yeah.
One can only hope. Hey, look at this. A Core i7, 3.4 gigahertz, 8 gigabyte of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, $800. 4th generation Intel Core i7 processor.
Nice. I want it.
I'm going to add that to my
we're going
wish
to talk
list.
about Nexus for a bit. That's science. Let's talk about Nexus. Can you pull up for a screen share maybe the pictures of the FCC pictures for the Nexus 5 or the presumed Nexus 5? I gotta say presumed because it's not official. It's a G2 variation, and the first Nexus was a G1 variation, so a lot of people think this G2 variation that was leaked from the FCC is the Nexus 5, and it looks a lot like the Nexus 5 leaked photo from Google's official KitKat video, which that right there tells you a lot. Google put up that video, and then people are like, hey, is that a Nexus 5? That does not look like a Nexus 4. It says Nexus on it. And then Google took it down immediately. That's kind of a, yeah, that right there is
So it has like this very almost identical shape to the Nexus 4.
Yeah. But importantly, the back does not look like it's glass. It looks like they decided glass is stupid. It's still
Glove.
Yeah, it's still gonna be closed case apparently, or at least if this is the Nexus 5, this design right here is closed case, no removable battery, but it's not glass.
Which I'm not. I mean, I understand the removable battery for some people, but
yeah,
it doesn't really bother me because my Nexus 4 gets really great battery life.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are wondering, and I'm wondering this too, like this really big ring around the camera. You see that?
The camera is supposed to be something like 13 megapixels, I think, though.
Yeah, but that's the lens right there. Yeah. And then there's this big circle around it.
Maybe it's just aesthetics. I don't know. We'll find out, but we're probably going to do a Nexus episode if they announce it before we finish this season. If
yeah,
not,
we got some empty slots. I'd like to do a Nexus Revisited.
They're probably going to announce a new Nexus 10, a second generation of that, around the same time they announce Nexus 5 and the official KitKat comes out. And
I'm interested in that too, in the Nexus 10. Like, I'm more open now to a 7-inch tablet, but the tablet I was used to was a 10-inch tablet. Yeah. So, and I feel like that's a pretty good size. I haven't actually seen or in person or held a 7-inch tablet or anything smaller than that. So
I wouldn't mind a 7-inch tablet. I want the Nexus trifecta. I'm a little. I just want it all. I'm probably not gonna get it all, but I want it, all three of them.
Yeah, I'd like to have all three.
That was a sneak peek at what could be the Nexus 5. It probably is. Nexus 4 was an LG 1 variant. That is right there was the LG G2 variant leaked from the FCC. So probably going to be Nexus. It looks almost identical to the Nexus that was leaked from the KitKat video without the Nexus branding across the back. So
I saw a lot of people thinking that they were like blurring it out. You see that where like it looks like the N is missing?
Yeah.
I can't see that as, like, I don't know why they're seeing it that way. Like, it looks pretty clear to me that the word Nexus is reflective and the rest isn't. Yeah. Because as he's moving, you see the lighting.
Well, that's what you remember too. This was taken from a moving video they paused and then zoomed in on.
Yeah, and they took one frame.
They had to pause and they also had to zoom in. So that could be why and it's just like half the end is just blurry. And
But if you see, like, I saw another video where they actually took that scene, but they zoomed in and frame by framed it, and you can see the end. You can see the end disappear, and then you can tell it's lighting. So basically, it's going to be a matte back, and the word Nexus is going to be glossy.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Hell of a lot better than glass back.
Honestly, the only reason why I 100% think that is the Nexus 5 is that KitKat video. Google put it up themselves, and people were like, "Hey, what is that other phone that the guy's holding? There's a girl next to him holding Nexus 4. It doesn't look anything like that. It clearly has Nexus written along it vertically." And then Google took it down right away. Google took that video down. It was like the promotional KitKat video, and they took it down. That right there is what is what. Did you write that?
Right, what?
What is this?
Oh, yeah, you see that?
Yeah, I didn't have the chat open. I just noticed there's a little thing over there. What is this?
I just never noticed that there was a little chat thing over there, so I figured...
What is what? What is what?
We'll never know.
What do you mean by this?
So is that group chat thing over there? Is that just for us in the Hangout? That's not for people?
Yeah, people who can't see it. It's for people in the Hangout. You can also...
It's not for the humans.
Like, if you invite people into our Hangout and then you disable their camera so they're not seen, they can still participate in the group chat with us or whatever through that. But, yeah.
I prefer the live chat.
So do I.
Everybody just use live chat.
I didn't even check the live chat at all.
I think mine closed. I forgot to open it.
It's just us. The Dell XPS.
Usually is.
Yeah, that's cool. I was looking at a similar computer on from Best Buy. Go to Best Buy, guys.
Sorry, I'm on the wrong website. I mean, I'll bookmark this and see if Best Buy has it.
No, but it was a HP 4th generation i5, 12 gigabytes RAM, 2 terabyte hard drive, Windows 8. It was like $800. So
this one's
But if you want to buy it for me, make a donation to Teklian's. My computer just asked me, "Am I still there?" Yes, I am.
Jeez, computer's checking up on you. Clingy ass computer.
Because I haven't touched the mouse in a while. It shows like a picture of like somebody lying down and like Z's coming out of his head. It's like, "Are you still there?" It's like, "Yes, I'm still here. Don't ask me again."
Where else would I be?
I have a webcam attached to you. Can you not see me?
Use your brain, stupid computer. No, but you said that one was 4th generation i5 with 2 terabyte hard drive, and it was $800. So if you're not that big on storage, this one same price, but a 4th generation i7.
4th generation. That's faster than a 4th generation i5.
Oh yeah. And see, this 1 terabyte hard drive, I'm not even concerned about like hard drive space like that, because that's just going to be storage, and all the storage I'm going to use is in my copy folders, and I have 137 gigs of copy storage, so I'm probably going to stick within that. But I'm going to eventually get a solid state drive and put Linux on it, so the hard drive it comes with is going to be storage anyway.
And so I wanted to get a solid state drive and I put Linux on it, and then also put Windows itself on it, because I would need Windows just for Photoshop in Vegas.
Photoshop in Vegas, yeah. That was the other thing that I'm always looking for, is a lot of them are coming with Windows 8, but there's still some that are shipping with Windows 7, so that's a plus.
I don't like Windows 8. I hate that Metro UI look or whatever it is. Yeah. Oh, here it is.
This one comes with Windows 7, which is another plus, so you don't have to wipe it out and put Windows 7 back on it.
Yeah. Do you have Hangouts open on your computer right now?
I have everything open on everything.
You better. You fucking better. Maybe you can open up this link I'm about to send you in Hangouts with the screen share. That's the one I was just looking at. I just sent it to you. I didn't shorten it because I'm an asshole. I'm a badass. I like it dirty. I sent you that whole link. It's like 6 paragraphs long. It's like a thesis. It's like a college thesis, I think. I just copied and pasted the URL to college thesis. There you go.
Yeah, well, I shortened it, so there you go.
I could have shortened it. I keep forgetting I have that extension now.
All right, so I put it in the rundown. I'm going to come over here now. I'm going to open it up and tap it in.
It says HP NV 700 desktop, 12 gigabyte memory, in your fucking face, expandable to 32 gigabyte, I think. That would be cool. I've never run a computer with anything higher than 4 gigabyte memory before. So if I were to have a computer with 12 gigabyte memory, I'd be so happy.
I think my work computer has 8 or 12 or 16,000 or something.
This is expandable up to 32. I can't even imagine 32 gigabytes of RAM. Like, why would you need that much RAM?
Yeah, 64-bit. They can handle up to 32 gigs.
Yeah, because it says expandable up to 32 gigabytes of RAM. That's pretty cool. Don't know what I would do with that, but
Looks like RoboCop. Looks like a Cylon.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That red line, yeah.
If it had a light that went across.
Just like a Cylon, yeah.
And then every time you open it or told us to do something, you were like, computer, open up my email, and it's all by your command.
That'd be insane. I would love if I could, like, control my computer. Like, that's actually something you don't really see much evolution in, is you have all this stuff now coming out with voice control for your phone. But really, your computer, you still don't. No one cares about the computer anymore. The computer now is just something to get the bulk job done with, and the smartphone has become the device that is used for the everyday simple tasks, you know?
Do you have some voice commands on if like in Google now how you can say Google and then talk and whatever.
Yeah.
If you go to google.com,
you hit the microphone.
Yeah, you can hit the microphone, or there's a little keyboard shortcut. I think it is. Let me test this. That is not it. Still testing. Control. There we go. Control Shift and the period key. It will launch the voice command.
Control Shift and the period key. And what, you can just make commands like you would on Google now, like what is the weather, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just honestly wish I could be. Can you be like open my email? I mean, that's what I want to be able to do.
Yeah, we need.
I've gotten so used to having a smartphone that having to reach for the mouse and click on the extension that opens my email for me, because that way I don't want to type in my email, and I just want to say open my email, Google.
Yeah, so you see how you have your microphone that you can click, but you can also hit Control Shift period. It wants to ask if I can use my. Please check your microphone. It's probably not gonna see it because it's being used, but
yeah, it's being used.
But yeah, I mean, it's easier to just click that because you usually already have your hand on your mouse. But if you just typed google.com, then you're probably already on the keyboard. You can use that just like you would Google Now and ask it things and talk to it and hope that it becomes your friend forever.
Forever and ever and ever and ever.
And you go eat cupcakes together.
And ever and ever and ever, forever and ever. I'm not going to stop. And ever. No. I just don't want to end the episode.
It's been over for like an hour.
This episode has just been talking. It's actually fun. I enjoy it. This is what our last episode's going to be like. Teklian update. We're going to
talk about ourselves.
That's going to be boring. We're just going to talk about random things. We'll be done talking about ourselves in the first 5 minutes.
Somebody favorited one of my tweets.
Holy shit. What's a tweet?
I don't know, but it was about grilled cheese.
I love grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese sandwich.
I'm going to go make grilled cheese.
Oh, you know
grilled cheese.
You know what's funny about this tweet that somebody favorited?
What's that?
It was back when I was playing around with stupid Vine when I thought that would, when I wanted to know more about it. This was back before I abandoned it the first time. I was trying to make a little vine, and I was trying to make. I saw this. I think you shared the recipe with me. It was those. I think you did. I don't know. I don't know where I am. It was like a grilled cheese, but it was rolled up.
Yeah. I saw that somewhere. It's like on Pinterest or something. I saw it somewhere.
Yeah.
Like a rolled up grilled cheese. Yeah.
Yeah. So you shared it, and then that's where I found it. So I was going to make them one time, and I thought, hey, I'm going to try out this stupid vine crap. So I'll make a vine of me doing it. And I ran out of time, so like the last 2 clips were like half a second long.
Yeah. Do you like tomatoes?
I love tomatoes.
Grilled cheese with tomatoes is one of my favorite ways to make grilled cheese.
I haven't tried that.
You've never tried grilled cheese with tomato?
Nope.
Everyone does that up here. Try
I'm a long way from up there.
Yeah. Next time you go to the store, pick up some good bread, good cheese, and it's like a piece of bread, a piece of cheese, a tomato. Like a couple of slices of tomato, then piece of cheese, piece of bread. That's the way you layer it. And it's just
sounds amazing.
It is. It's especially. I sometimes will put basil with it too. So I'll put like cheese, tomato, basil, and it's like in a sandwich. And it's just really good.
Yeah. So I made this vine of me trying to make that, and I was going through each step. I made you press and record, and then you record just a little bit. And I was recording me like flattening it, putting a piece of cheese, rolling, and then I showed them all rolled out, and then I took a clip of me putting butter in the pan, and then that took a little too long because the butter was sticking. And then my last two were supposed to be of them in the pan, and then when they were done and cut open. And those last two clips were like half a second each, and it came out like crap because Vine, unlike Instagram, if you mess up a clip or you want to redo it, you have to redo the entire thing, and I couldn't do that. So I had to just live with it, and I posted it. And then I thought, this is really stupid. Those last two clips are really annoying me, so I just deleted it. So this tweet that somebody favorited just now is the tweet from that Vine that got deleted. So when you actually click on it, the tweet still exists, but the video that's linked to it doesn't. So the tweet says grilled cheese with a question mark, and then there's a Vine link, and the Vine link doesn't go anywhere. So this moron favorited that tweet.
They just favorited it now. Wasn't that months ago?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stroke my goatee.
It's the master.
It's anonymous. It's actually V for Vendetta. I'm just so bored, but I don't want to end the episode.
Me either, because then I have to like go do things.
I know. Then I'm gonna end the episode. I was gonna be like, let's go out and do something for dinner, and it's like, let's eat cereal. No, I don't like cereal. It's like, fuck you.
I love cereal.
Oh, I blew through a bowl, package of Fruity Pebbles. I love Fruity Pebbles.
You did what for a package of Fruity Pebbles?
I blew through. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not very proud of myself. Actually,
whatever
I got a package of Fruity Pebbles out of it.
Whatever it takes.
My son is crazy for Cocoa Pebbles. If I give my son Cocoa Pebbles, he's like, this spoon isn't big enough. He uses his hands. It's like, it's like he's come down with some infliction. He's like, I need Cocoa Pebbles.
Why don't I have more mouths to eat this?
After watching me eat cereal with him, he's reached the stage now where he understands when the cereal's done, he has to take the bowl and drink the milk. He learned that from me. My wife's like, Joe, you taught him that. He shouldn't do that. It's like, I'm not going to sit there with a spoon to get the milk out.
Yeah, exactly.
Just put the bowl back. It's a giant cup now.
My wife does not drink the milk left in the bowl afterwards.
Why?
I have no idea. She's like, why would you do that? I'm like, because it's milk flavored like the cereal you just
with
ate.
Sugar and sweet and delicious.
It's like supercharged milk. It's like part of it. I've always known it as that's part of it. That's what you do. You do one of two things. When you're done with your cereal and you've got all this milk, you do one of two things. You put more cereal in the milk, or you drink the milk, and you call it a day. I do both.
Depends on how I feel or how much cereal is left.
Yeah. You know when you pour a bowl and then you've got like half a bowl left in there, and you're like, it's like you can either like maybe you didn't want to eat that much, but it's like maybe I'll just have a second bowl because I know that there's not enough. There's just enough in there to have some next time, but it's not enough. It's to the point where it's not going to be a full bowl. So I know that I'm going to have some later the next time I want cereal, but it's not going to be enough, and I'm going to be mad.
My wife doesn't like breakfast food at all.
I love breakfast.
I with the exception of having to have a burger and some steak once in a while, I could live on breakfast. Fucking bacon. I don't like scrambled eggs. I don't know why. I don't like scrambled eggs unless they're like with a decent amount of cheese. I was never a big fan of scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs? Because they're like just scrambling eggs is horrible to me. I always put like say I put like in a little bowl, I put like 3 eggs in there, and then I put like the egg equivalent of milk, and then I take like a couple slices of cheese,
and then I whisk it with a fork
and throw it in there.
Oh really? I like whisk it with a fork after I add the milk to the point where it's like frothy. Because that's the way my dad used to be a cook, and that's the way he taught me how to do it. And then I put it like on the pan and stuff, and then I add the cheese when the egg's almost done, so the cheese can melt near the end.
I kind of add it like right when I put it in there. That way it's kind of embedded into it. But I'll put like mozzarella and cheddar.
Mozzarella's like a weakness for me.
I love mozzarella.
Like my wife bought like how mozzarella comes in like a ball sometimes. She bought like a ball of mozzarella. She's like, "Where's the mozzarella?" I don't know. My mouth's still half full. It's like, I have no idea.
Like the string cheese, the sticks of string cheese.
Yeah, that stuff's amazing. It's like crack in like a little plastic wrap. It's like. But no, I haven't had an omelet in a while. Omelets are delicious.
Omelets are. You know what would be really awesome? Speaking of breakfast and getting back on the topic, growing meat.
Oh crap, we have hat tips, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do yours first, because I'm hungry.
I'll do mine first. Growing meat. My hat tip is lab-grown meat. And basically using stem cells, they can grow whatever meat you want in a lab. They've already done it with a burger, and the technology is there. It just needs more funding. But they actually made a burger, and it wasn't just they made a burger. They made it, they cooked it, and someone ate it. A person. And it was edible, and it tasted. Now this is the article phrase. It tasted almost like a burger, but in reality, it tasted like a burger, and the burgers we're used to tasting are burgers with all the fucking bad hormones and stuff that animals are pumped full of.
That's what I always talked about. Like the sad thing is like they're trying to perfect this technology and working with like chefs to work on flavoring and everything. Yeah. And the sad thing is that the reason that they have to work on the flavor is because we're used to meat that's been processed and has gotten sick over its life and being, it's going through all of this crap.
It's not like it's they're flavoring it because the taste isn't right because it's made in a lab. This is perfect meat. This is the way it's supposed to taste. This is the way it would taste if you took a perfectly healthy cow that has never been exposed, its parents have never been exposed to all the hormones that they're pumped full of. Say you went to like some other country and got a cow from there where they don't do that, and you were to have it, this is what it would taste like. But we're so not used to it that that's not acceptable to us.
But I think it's not. I think it's even more than that too. Like, think about the things that animal has eaten throughout its life. Those are probably affecting its body, and so you're getting meat that's flavored by, its life. This is meat. This is pure meat. This is meat without anything.
That's all they do is just grow meat. No animals were killed, and also one thing they do is they use beet juice or something like that to color the meat to give it that like red color because it's not connected to an animal's cardiovascular system or something like that. The meat's not red, it's gray. And that's also a big turnoff for people. They actually colored the meat red using beet juice so people would be more keen to eat it and look at it.
Which is sad because it's like, this is just how this is pure meat.
This is pure meat. It's like, it's not red because it was never inside the animal, but it's still pure meat.
So it's like all of this extra research and funding and issues are going into manipulating it to look like the crap that we're used to.
We're spending more money on it than we need to just because we have to try to make it look like it. And it tastes almost like it. It's like, so what? It's real meat, and it's 100% pure, too. There is not a drop of fat. There is absolutely zero fat in these burgers. Zero fat. Because they're controlling it. They're controlling the fact that it's grown just by the meat. There's not going to be any fats. It's not coming from an animal. And so it's healthier.
And I think it's really awesome because, like, I mean, I like meat, but
just keep that to yourself, right? I mean, if you like meat, it's fine with you. But just kidding.
But I like it, but I don't like what it has to go through. I don't like the fact that something has to die because
I'm not going to stop eating it because of that. But
I've seen like so many videos of like behind the scenes of what they do, and they get so ridiculous. These people that are like just torturing the animals just for fun. It's like it could be done more humanely, more respectfully.
Yeah, and then
eliminate that process, and like think of like the price of it. Like you can go to like a burger place, and they can they're just growing the meat right there. There's no like farm, they're not just processing it and then like it has to be transported and stored and preserved and all this crap. Because that's the other thing is like crap that's going into it to preserve it. Yeah. And like that video that you found when I was telling you about the meat glue.
Do you have the? Can you pull up the article that I stuck in the rundown on a screen share? There's actually a chart somewhere in that article that shows you how much land is used by. It's like a pie chart that shows you how much land is being used by the current industry and how much would be used by this plan. How much how much energy is being used, how much would be used by this plan, and et cetera, et cetera. And it shows the difference between the two and how much is being saved. Also, what is not carbon emissions? What is it? Polluting the atmosphere or whatever. I can't think of the right word right now. It would be cut drastically. We would actually be able to fall into the range that we're looking for. I hope I posted the right article. I had 3 or 4 I was looking at. No, that one doesn't have the pie chart.
No.
All right. Oh, well, there was a pie chart, and it had on one of the articles I was looking at, and it was showing the difference. It had like a big circle, and it was orange, and that represented how, and it would have a number 55%, 65%, or something would be used for like cattle raised and stuff like that, and then it had a little circle underneath that was a different color that represented the amount that would be used if we were to use this plan. And also, like what you told me, you have like disgusting things like meat glue and stuff where they cut up your meat and they ship it out, and then they have all these little bits left over that weren't big enough to ship out. And rather than get rid of them and waste them, they take this stuff, meat glue, that's so bad for you that when they're actually putting it together, they have to wear masks. And they throw it with the meat, and it holds it all together, and it turns like red in color as they're doing it. And it's so good that most butchers can't even tell when meat glue is used or not. And it's perfectly legal, and then it looks like a full piece, and it's just a bunch of bad pieces thrown together with this meat glue. And sometimes it can even be more meat glue sometimes than actual meat, and they still will sell it. And
yeah, it's been banned in other countries, but it's perfectly fine here. And they're just taking all these little scraps of crap that nobody wants, and they're putting it together into this big loaf, and then they're reselling it as like premium cut meat.
Yeah. And then after you told me about meat glue, I went and I looked up this video, and it was telling me about this other stuff about how sometimes they will take meat that's older and not as good, and they'll put stuff in it that'll like help brighten its color, and then ship it out to be sold. So it's not yet expired, but it's by no means fresh. And then they do other things where they'll take like roast, like the big things, and they actually inject it with water to make it bigger, and you're actually buying water. They inject it with some water and flavoring, and then in the video the guy took one of them and he wrung out all the water, and most of it was water, a little bit was the actual juices that are inside the meat. Most of it was water, and it was like half a kilo less, which is something like more than a pound, right?
Yeah, a little over a pound.
So you got to think an average roast, you're paying what, $5.99 a pound? That's like $6. You just got fucking ripped off. It's like the meat industry is insane. I don't want to look it up because I don't want to know, because I don't want to stop eating meat.
We need to grow meat.
Yeah.
I was trying to tell somebody about it, and like people like. Some people get freaked out by it, like
grossed out, and it's like, this is pure meat.
Yeah, I was telling somebody, and they're like, just think of all like the chemicals in it. It's like, there's no chemicals. There are chemicals in the crap you're eating now.
Yeah.
There's shit in there that's not food, that's not edible, and you're eating it because we can somehow get away with that. This is pure meat. It's cleaner than any meat you've ever eaten before.
No. Like, for instance, the reason why girls are going through like fucking puberty now at like 8.5, 9 instead of 14 is because of all the hormones that we now put into meat, milk, chickens for their eggs. It's really like, and you don't have a problem eating that at all. Like, you don't, but this pure meat, just because it was grown without the animal, is a problem.
I don't know how many times I get that face when I'm talking about lab-grown meat, and then you get that's my impression of you, all of you out there. Except you.
Except me? Were we talking to me or somebody else?
And you.
And me. Oh, was that me or was that someone else?
What?
What? Are you talking?
I have a question. If there's anybody actually watching, which I know there isn't, because
we can see the views.
But
if you watch it later, comment.
I have a big question: is lab-grown meat? For the vegetarians out there, would you be open to eating lab-grown meat because no animals were harmed?
I think it depends on the vegetarian. There are vegetarians out there that don't eat meat because of the fact that animals are killed, and then there are vegetarians that don't eat meat because they believe it's healthier not to.
Right.
I don't think they would eat it even. Those vegetarians I don't think would still eat it even if it was lab-grown. But the ones who don't eat it for animal rights reasons, I think they would be open to eating it. I mean, sure as hell beats tofu.
Yeah, but I mean, they do prove that you don't need it. There are people that, I mean, obviously, I know some vegetarians who are a hell of a lot healthier than me, and I mean, I could be healthier. It's not because I eat meat; it's because I don't do other things. But I mean, it's not something that you need, and the fact that there are vegetarians that survive prove that you can survive perfectly fine without it. So there are people that I'm sure that if the opportunity came to have meat that didn't require an animal to be murdered for it, they probably wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to try meat now, because it's probably like, well, who cares? I haven't needed it.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if it open up the idea of a new food, you know?
Well, I sure hope so, because, I don't know, I'm the exception, but I get pissed off a lot when I look at how far we've come as a species, how advanced we are, all the things that we are capable of, and then I look at some of the things we still do. And I look at our priorities. Like, our priorities, the guy from Google helped fund the majority of this article that I was talking about, where they actually were able to produce 2 burgers for 2 people to eat. That was it. It was like 2 burgers, and it was like $365,000, and he did that out of pocket because no one else really seems to care about whether or not this technology happens or comes around. And I think it's important. It's kind of what it comes down to. I think it's important for this to become a thing. We're an advanced race now, not advanced, but we need to start acting like we want to advance.
There's so many people who, when you bring up a new idea, like you bring up this meat thing, you bring up the idea of a starship or a colony out in space or something like that, and they're just hanging on to like these old ways. They're like, well, there's going to be those people that are going to see like the lab grown meat and then the real meat, and they're going to.
Yeah. And also, I know I've said this before in past episodes, but I see a lot of just this dull sense of content that particularly a lot of people in our generation have, where it's like they're just happy with where we're at. They're like, yeah, I'm happy with where we're at. I'm okay. I don't see the need to progress anymore. And I see a lot of that where people are just like, as long as the new iPhone comes out every year, it's like, and there's so much more that needs advancement. And it's just, I don't know, I'm one of those people that constantly thinks about this, so it's hard for me to imagine, like, why do you not think about this? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
This is your species. I overreact, I'm sorry.
That's not overreacting.
Yeah.
That's normal. Everybody else is underreacting.
Yeah, but it's true. There are so many people that just don't really care as long as, there's new advancements in their smartphone and there's new advancements in the medical field. Other than that, they're just like, I don't care where we go from here. I don't want to go to space, so I don't care about anything at all that has to do with that. It's like huge benefit to our society if we didn't know.
You know who has really good information about that type of stuff? Who talks about the world of tomorrow and...
Oh, wait, Elmo. Ah!
Close.
I was close. God. There's
Neil
an E in his
deGrasse
name
Tyson.
somewhere. There's actually 3 E's. I was close.
So, you ever seen his show or heard of his show? It's a little...
StarTalk. I have it on my Feedly. I've done a little bit, not much. I love the guy though.
Yeah, he's brilliant. I've been checking out some of his audio cast. I hate the word podcast. So he has a radio show, and he talks about all kinds of stuff. And he's really brilliant when it comes to like stuff like that, where we need people to think more about that type of stuff and be open to more innovation. And we need to fund NASA and support all these things, because those are what's driving innovation, and that's what's pushing progress. And people don't really care about progress. Like you were saying, people are just kind of content with just how it is. You hear people all the time, well, that's just the way it is. Like, well, that doesn't have to be that way. You can not be such a lazy sack of shit, and you can do something about it.
We all need to work towards progressing. It doesn't need to be, we have our scientists doing it. Everyone needs to care about it. Even if you're not doing something, you don't need to be a scientist. Everyone needs to care, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that I haven't innovated anything, but I do little small part. I have that.
I try to know what's going on.
Idea.
I try to know what's going on, and I'm one person, but I go on my Google Plus. I tell people about all these things that I read and see, and I try to stay on top of it. And even, of course, only the scientists can do that stuff. Like, not everyone can be a fucking theoretical physicist, and to have an idea of what's going on and the developments that our kind is trying to make and where we can go, and to have ideas, it's part of being a human, and it's like going away. That has been part of humankind since man walked upright, is progression from tools to just the wheel to fire to buildings. And now we're reached the point where it's like, well, we have all this stuff. I don't care about that other stuff, so all of the nerds worry about that. It's like, what is wrong with you?
Well, that's what I hate, the whole nerd stuff. And like, yeah, nerds are the one pushing evolution. So I hate when I get a discussion with somebody who's trying to I don't know, not to get into anything very specific, but they're asking me questions about stuff like space related or science related, because they don't understand it, and they're trying to prove a whatever idiotic point they have. I don't know. But they're asking me things like, well, how do they know this, and how can they do that? And I'm like, if I knew, I wouldn't be getting paid the shit I get paid to do a crap job I have now. I'd be doing that. Yeah. But there are people who are friggin' brilliant, and they know how to do that stuff. So if you want to know, do some research. Because I'll tell you, the information is there.
That's what I get annoyed sometimes, and I'm like, I find something really cool, and it's an article, and it's like about all this theoretical physics stuff, astrophysics stuff, and I try to tell somebody about it, and they want me to explain the science to them. It's like, I don't understand the science. I'm just saying this is what they're working on, and it's fucking cool. It's like...
That's what I love about, like, Neil deGrasse Tyson and, who else am I thinking? Michio Kaku.
Yeah.
Carl Sagan was another good one. They did a really good job of putting things into a perspective that people can really begin to try and understand. They weren't, they have like the different shows and everything, and it's not just like boring, nothing but information being pumped into your head. It's more of a, I don't know, they put it into better terms.
They put it into terms so that it doesn't sound boring when it's being said, and you can listen to it and understand what they're saying, I guess.
Yeah. I
often get this feeling when I'm talking about something that I'm just rambling on and on. But when I hear them saying it, those people, I just sit and I listen, and it's like they're saying it right. I'm saying it wrong. I'm wrong.
Yeah. You're wrong because you can't explain the science of it to somebody who knows nothing about science. That's the other thing. Is people expect such a simple explanation. They expect you to be like, oh, well, how do they know there's a planet out there that could have water on it? And
they're like, well, when a mommy loves a daddy really much.
They expect this answer where you're like, oh, well, because they pulled out a magnificent telescope and they saw an ocean.
Yeah.
Like, they're expecting something like that. And, like, it's like you could get into, like, the details of, like, oh, well, they analyzed the spectrum of, like, the molecules around it and looked at the light and, like, the different rays coming up, and they saw that the certain temperatures and different gases and different distances, and there could be, and they're like, huh?
Yeah.
It's like they don't want an answer like that. They want somebody to say, oh, because they took a trip over to Alpha Centauri last week and they, dug up some shit.
You didn't hear there's a teleporter now? We just kind of sent a camera out there?
Somebody took a magical Winnebago into hyperspace. Spaceball.
I want to Winnebago. No, I want to go to hyperspace.
I want a starship.
I want like a fucking mothership. I can't help though, whenever I think of like a starship or mothership in my head, I think of all these things from like sci-fi movies like Stargate and stuff. And I even think of that ship that you showed earlier on, the one that can take off from a runway. And that would make sense for its design. But you think about it, if you have like an actual starship, like a mothership in space, it can be shaped like whatever you want it to be shaped like, because there is no aerodynamics in space.
That's what I always thought was funny when you see like sci-fi shows. It's always like
even their fighter planes. Their fighter planes are even shaped like
they're all aerodynamic. Yeah. It's like it doesn't need to be.
I mean, I know it was in some of the sci-fi shows, their planes do then go into atmospheres, but for the ones that don't, like the big motherships and stuff, it's like there is no need for it to be aerodynamic. In Stargate, there's the I think it's the Borgs. They have like cubes. Their spaceships are just like giant cubes.
Yeah, in Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek. That's pretty cool. But I'd like to see more of that in sci-fi, kind of just like these weird ass shapes that are not aerodynamic in no way. Like a tall building, like you just see a skyscraper just like going.
Yeah, that would be funny. It's a vertical ship just going like this.
It's like, why not? It does not need to be aerodynamic at all. It's hard to picture. If you picture it in your head, it sounds funny, but you know what? In space, it does make sense.
Yeah. I mean, you're be a big target. You make a big, like, I don't know, some really random shape, but it's like flat. So when it turns this way, it's like, it looks like it's like that thin, and then so someone's approaching from the side, and it's like, oh, we got this, and then all of a sudden it turns, and it's like,
sort of like in Stargate, you had the Gould motherships. They're pyramids. That's not aerodynamic in any way. That was
yeah.
The Hatak vessels, I think they were called. And we're still just rambling on to keep this episode from ending.
2 weeks until Once Upon a Time comes back on.
I am so behind on this show. What season is this going to be?
3.
I'm 2 episodes. I watched season 1 in about a week when you told me about the show. I watched season 1 in about a week, and then I watched like 1 or 2 episodes of season 2, and then I kind of just forgot about it. Haven't come back to it yet. It was good. I was enjoying it. Obviously, I watched the whole season in like less than a week, but there's so many shows I'm trying to stay on top of right now. We'll get to that in 2 weeks for the sci-fi shout-out, but I can't keep on top of it. I'm like jumping from show to show. Like I missed out when I was a kid on most of the Star Trek ones, so I'm watching Star Trek Voyager now, and So I remember when I was a kid, I was punished once. My mom's like crazy, but she's literally like crazy. But like one of my punishments was I had to go and I had to hang out with some old lady from a nursing home as punishment with like this church thing or whatever. Literally, all that fucking old lady did was sit there and make me tea and watch Star Trek Voyager. It was like 1996. It was still kind of like a new show then, and that's all she wanted to do. Is she would sit there and watch Star Trek Voyager and make me tea, and that was my punishment. My mom didn't know that's like all that was happening. She thought I was supposed to be like helping her take care of herself, but she just sat in her chair and watched Star Trek Voyager. I was like, "You want some tea?" It's like, "Okay, I'll have some tea." My mom insists she's crazy religious, but she isn't at all. She's like evil. But
That's a hell of a punishment. Speaking of Star Trek, I'm on my Google Plus stream and I just saw a little cat tower. You know those like kitty condo things
yeah,
built like sci-fi ships.
oh, that's cool. Reshare that.
I'm gonna reshare that right now.
I know. I'd like to see what is it. Robert Picardo, who he was in Stargate and Star Trek. The guy that played the original Sulu in the original Star Trek, and a couple other Star Trek characters. They're getting together and they're trying to make another Star Trek series because they have the movie reboot. There hasn't been a series since Enterprise ended, and the series is all like they had an Indiegogo thing. They're trying to get money to make a pilot episode. And Star Trek fans are like torn. Some of them are like, "Oh, it's cool, Star Trek is back," and other ones are like all unhappy because what it makes it seem like from the description is the Federation, which is supposed to be in all the Star Trek shows. It's this thing of peace, this thing of like they're good, they keep peace. Is like under like almost a dictatorship control, and that they've secretly taken control the whole time. And like a bunch of renegades have to try to take the Federation back and make it what it was or something like that. And it's kind of hard to explain because they don't even have that much information on it right now themselves. But I personally think it sounds cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Holy crap, it's the Enterprise. And that is... What is that satellite-looking one?
Which
that
one?
Looks,
The big one?
Yeah, the big one, tall one.
I think it's...
It looks like the satellite from Stargate Atlantis that was like orbiting one of the moons or whatever.
I'm almost thinking like Deep Space Nine or something.
Oh yeah, the Deep Space
sure.
Nine satellite maybe? It could be because Deep Space Nine took place on a satellite. It does look like one of them is Enterprise, the other ship is Voyager, so maybe that's the Deep Space Nine satellite. Why do all alternate universes have Zeppelins?
I kind of noticed that. You watch more Fringe?
I'm only 3 episodes in right now.
I can't
Like I
say
said,
anymore.
every night I switch. I watch it Dresden Files, and I'll watch Fringe, then I watch 4400, and then I watch Voyager. There's so many sci-fi shows I'm trying to stay on top of.
Yeah, that's my wife and I were doing that. We had so many different things we were watching on Netflix that we picked a day. We had a certain day. We were watching like Lost, Doctor Who, all these other things.
Yeah.
And it was like we had certain days where this day is going to be for this show, this day is going to be for that show. So every day we switched a different show and just watched as many as we could that night. I think we had like Thursday nights was like Hulu day because we had a bunch of shows from throughout the week that were finally on. So we would just watch there'd be like maybe 4 or 5 of those. And then it was Doctor Who Fridays.
Oh, Doctor Who Fridays. You're lucky with that. Your wife does like that some of that sci-fi stuff with you. My wife won't watch Lost, she won't watch Fringe, she won't watch X-Files, she won't watch Star Trek, she won't watch Stargate. She won't watch any Doctor before Eccleston. At least I watched the new Doctor Who with her. That's our thing. When Doctor Who's on, we watch that. She loves Game of Thrones. I haven't watched that one yet. She loves Game of Thrones. She loves Walking Dead. We watch that together. But we kind of got to pick and choose. I can't watch sci-fi with her. I got to watch other stuff. But there's still stuff I like. I love Walking Dead, so she and I watch that together. I usually hate zombie stuff, but it's well done.
Yeah, that's why I haven't gotten into watching it because I hate zombie stories. They're all like the same to me.
I like it because it focuses a lot on the people and their personal interactions and their dealing with the zombie apocalypse more so than the actual zombie apocalypse and the type of people and the way people evolve in a zombie apocalypse world and resort to like being bad, kind of, and not good people. I guess.
Have you seen that show Revolution?
I've not. I think I saw an ad for it on like people who watch this liked on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah, it seemed interesting, but we got so bored with it. It was more like focused. It was like all the power goes out in the entire world, and so everybody's kind of like resorted back to like tribes and like just survival.
Yeah.
And so there's like all these like pieces of like all this technology is now useless. One of the guys in the show that's like one of a more common character. I don't know if he's a main character, but he used to work at Google. But now it's just all just like survival and everything, and like like the first episode, it's like you see all this stuff happen, and then it shows like it's like years later. I don't know if it's like 10, 15 years later, and then it's showing how everything has gone, resorting back to like all of, like the vegetation is overgrown and everything because and somebody goes and they have like this little crystal or some kind of necklace or something, and they go over to like these open these door things, and they're like they have a computer and they have a working computer, and like they put this thing on there and it like powers it up, and then they like type or something, some message. And then like somebody responds from on the other end. It's like some kind of like mysterious message or whatever. And we're like, ooh. So all this crap's going on, but there's like, is somebody in control of this? But like my sister-in-law watches it, and she was saying that it gets really, you got to stick with it and it gets better. But we watched like 8 episodes and we were just so bored.
Yeah, it doesn't sound plausible to me. That's the thing. All the power goes out. There's so many other methods of getting power. There would be so many people in the world who would know how to harness power. I mean, you have solar panels all over the place now.
Yeah, because that's what I was like. Every single battery dies and all this stuff. And she said, like, I guess it has to do with some kind of technology that was created to do this. So something is doing this on purpose, and somebody is doing this on purpose to the whole planet. But she was like, that's what you got to wait and see because it makes sense. I was like, yeah, well, they need to hurry up on that message because it's boring. We started watching Breaking Bad, too. It was actually like right after we did our tech update episode, I think it was, and we mentioned how people were calling the cops because the cable went out during Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So we decided to start.
How I am with shows. When it's over, I start watching it.
Yeah.
I hate when I find out a show has like an unfinished ending. Mm-hmm. Like I was watching the 4400, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna check just because I saw someone like in the review say something about it, and it ended in a cliffhanger. I'm like, I don't want to watch it now. Why don't I watch it, get into it? When I get to the last episode, it's going to be a huge cliffhanger because they expect it to have another season, and it's never, ever resolved.
Yeah.
You never find out the whole thing that's going on. You never find it out. It's like, I don't want to do that. I want another Firefly movie.
New World. We were watching that. We were watching Primeval New World, and it was really good. And then it gets to the end, and there's this huge cliffhanger, and I was like, crap, I got to see if it's available anywhere, or if the next one's coming back. And no, it was just canceled. Just left it at that.
I hate that. Like Eureka, I heard almost had an ending like that because they were supposed to have a movie.
Yeah, they actually made a reference to it in that last episode. Like they were supposed to get the season finale, and then they were going to get 6 more episodes to wrap it up. Yeah, and then they canceled those 6 episodes, and they had to wrap it up in that one last episode.
Yeah.
So they made references to that in that episode. Like they had to like pack up Global Dynamics and shut everything down, and they were like, no, we still have like 6 days, and they're like, no, it's got to go today. So they made a reference to that, like that they would have had more time, but now they got cut short.
I still have to watch that season. That's the only season I haven't seen. I just remember the end of the other season, like they had the issue go wrong with the spacecraft going to one of the Titans moon or whatever. And I got to find out what happened with that.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Something about like alternate universe or something like that, or a different zine. I don't remember. I watched like the first episode a while ago. But no, I always loved Eureka. That was stupid of Sci-Fi to cancel that Sci-Fi.
Yeah, that was a really awesome show.
I looked up online. Even they considered it a mistake canceling it. It was their top-rated show. According to what I read online, they canceled it because it was getting too expensive. Because every year they have to give those characters, like the actors, raises. Every year they have to make more money than they did the previous year by law or something, or by union or something like that. And you've seen the show. You know how many main characters there are on that show.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of and that's a lot of characters for them to be giving more money to every year. So they just decided to call it quits, and it's like, what are you gonna do? That's CC for you. They're gonna everything good. They're gonna cut it out and give you more WWE.
Yep, more wrestling.
Nobody watches it. WWE has the lowest ratings of anything else on their fucking channel, and yet they insist on keeping that.
Does it?
I'm not sure. I'm just guessing, but I don't know anyone that watches it anymore. I don't know anyone but a 10-year-old that watches WWE. We really probably should end this one.
Yeah, we probably should. We're talking about sci-fi now. We got a sci-fi
sorry, guys.
episode coming up.
We actually jumped ahead 2 weeks into the future. All right, all done.
All right, so we did our head tips.
Woo. And we're out for the week. We'll see you next week with self-producing content. I'm excited for that episode.
Yeah,
I'm excited to go to bed. I'm gonna make a bowl of cereal and go to bed.
Oh,
My wife
do
won't.
that.
No, my wife won't let me do that. We're gonna go out and do something, and I'm gonna be tired, and she's gonna be like, "Why are you so angry?" It's like, "I'm not angry. I'm tired." It's like, "You're being cranky." It's like, "No, I'm not. Shut up, woman." No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. But no, it's gonna be something along the lines of, "Why are you upset?" "I'm not. I'm just sleepy."
And this was the last time Joe was ever seen.
Yeah. So next week it'll just be Chris. For now on.
It's gonna be
All
a
right.
memorial episode for Joe.
Yeah. Bye bye, everybody.
All right, see you later.